that it's okay to have relationships with people who just want something from them. This is not really a relationship. You just want me to sit down and be quiet. The reason why you're doing this, and this is because you want me to be friendly with you so that I'll listen to your lesson. That's not a relationship. That's manipulation.
Ah, there you go.
I'm the teacher.
There you go.
You the student. Sit down, okay? And now, we can be nice. We could be nice to each other. Come on, like I can be nice and loving and caring and kind of all type of stuff. But you're 7. We don't have a relationship. Now, with your parents, I might have a relationship. But with you, sit down. And I could be as nice as I want to be about it. I can be as funny and care how the day is going. That's not a relationship. And then for the older kids, listen, and this is very appropriate for the Black conference, literacy, whatever, this conference right here is very appropriate because I got news for you. This high school teachers who are saying we can't do this to each other. Man, listen, you're not going to have my kid up on the news because you done built a relationship with my son who's 15 years old and plays on the football team and you happen to think he's a strapping young. No. We're not going down that road. Let's not act like it doesn't happen. These teachers sometimes are out of pocket. Out of pocket. And for Black folks, we talk about this outside of mixed company. Mm-hmm. But you hear these folks talking, well, we got to build, it's the quality of the relationships. Let me tell you something, Miss 25-year-old teacher. I don't need you to build a relationship with my son. I need you to teach. Matter of fact, when my son was in high school, I would go to the parent. He was a good student. He was straight. No issues with him. I would still go to back to school night just because I needed to look his teachers in the face. And say, I'm his father. I'm his daddy. If you got something you want to talk to him about, call me. Here's his mother's phone number. Here's my call us. Okay, and but we're not gonna do this whole build. No, we're not getting down like that. I'm not gonna have my son up on the news. No. Well, and I know it's not polite to say that, but it's submissive. People talk about it all the time. And these teachers, I see the news. They're crazy. Like, I'm not saying all teachers are crazy. I'm not saying all teachers are pedophiles. I'm not saying all that. But you're asking me to vet 200 or 100 teachers over the course of their high school, middle school, elementary career and run an FBI background. No, come on, just do your job. And if we cool, if you and I, as a teacher and parent, we ended up being cool because, we've talked and I understand you understand me. We agree with certain things and my kid gets, okay, fine. Like, we might develop a relationship and a friendship and my kid is going to like you and vice versa. All that's good. But don't sit up here and act like you want to build a relationship with my 7-year-old or my 15-year-old and I'm just supposed to sit here and accept it because you're the teacher. I don't let anybody build a relationship with my kids like that when they're under my roof. Nah, I'm vetting you, whether you're a boyfriend, a coach. No. Not my son, not my daughter, pretty little girl, and you a coach, I'm watching. I got my eye on everybody. I'm looking. I don't want no nonsense. And it's the same way, just because you got a dry erase marker in your hand don't mean you're exempt from that. You are, I want to be on the same page with you. We got a mutual interest in getting this kid where they got to go. But let's be clear, this is my child.
This is your lane.
You ain't paying no light bill. You ain't paying the sewer. You ain't paying the food. Like, come on, man. Come on. Stop playing. I just, part of it, maybe it's immaturity. Maybe it's a neediness to feel loved. Or maybe it's just, you don't know how to get a kid to pay attention, so this is all you know.
Okay, so that's it's like bribery, basically. It's like...
Yes,
because
that's what it is. It's not a relationship, that's bribery.
Yeah, it's bribery.
That's exactly what it is.
They do that in classes
That's a topic right there we should talk about. There's a difference between a relationship and bribery. And I don't want my daughter getting used to, hey, this relationship is because this person wants something from me, and so therefore they're going to be nice to me. Nah, man, that's the exact thing I don't want her to get used to. You actually are contributing. You're not even old enough to understand how problematic this is. Nah, I can't have that. And it's okay if they don't like you. It's okay. My child has the right not to like you. They don't have the right to just be disrespectful to you.
Yes,
they don't have the right to be
there's good, that fine line.
They don't have to like you. They don't have to be in a relationship with you to teach them.
No, they don't.
That topic right there has legs. We should talk about that right there.
Okay, it's bribery versus transactional relationship type things, right? You always because there's always an incentive. They want to dangle over a kid's head, right? If they can't get the kid to do what they want in that moment, they start doing things okay, well, if you do this, and now, granted, at home, we may do that, but that we're their parents. But at school, why are you incentivizing my child to guess a word or whatever with a piece of candy? Or why are you dinging them for behavior? Because I know what you mean, and it can go, but there definitely is bribery in transactional relationships, and like the conversation of teachers thinking that they need to build that. There's a fun.
The teachers need to build that, and they're being told to do. They're being encouraged to do that. Like that's the key to teaching, is that you have to build these relationships. Let me tell you something. Just because you give my daughter stickers don't mean you have a relationship. Just because you make her laugh and she gets your jokes don't mean you have a relationship. Y'all don't have no relationship, right? Teach. Just teach. Now, you might get along with her. She might get along with you. She might think you're funny. That's fine. That's fine. Y'all don't have no relationship. And if you really want to build a relationship, you come to the parents.
Yes.
We're the ones who need to be in a relationship. And another adult. That's our job, right? And I got news for you. I understand you went through the background check, and I understand the state has the way they screen and all that up. No, listen, let me tell you something. I may not even, I'm not judging your personal life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not judging your personal life. Your personal life might be a hot mess when you leave this school building. I'm not judging that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But don't expect me to assume that you got it all together, that you're a noble and honorable and decent person, that you have proper boundaries. Please don't. I can't afford to. I got kids. I can't afford. Don't ask me to make those assumptions. That's pernicious. That's untenable. That's not right. Matter of fact, good teachers, I want parents to keep their guard up. I had a parent tell me one time, her daughter's name was Dejanay Reynolds. Mom came, pretty little girl. This is 5th grade. She came to me and her mom was like, yeah, she's a very sweet, pretty little girl, and I have to be very mindful of her. Listen, I knew what she was saying. She was trying, I just met her, but she was trying to say as best she could, I don't want no trouble. I know my daughter's pretty, and everybody, and I'm watching everybody. She was trying to say this, she was on tiptoeing to the thing and trying not to be offensive to me. But as a parent, I understood what she was saying.
Yeah.
My daughter is beautiful, and she's only 11. She's just gone through her transition. So here she is, and I need her to be safe. Please, sir, can you stay in your lane?
Please, can you? Yeah.
And I was like, ma'am, yeah, you know what? I look forward to you and I being in close communication. If I need anything, I'm coming to you. I'm gonna do my best to make sure Dejanay gets everything she needs, and it's all good, and you're right to come to the teacher up front and let them know you're involved, you're engaged, and you won't boundaries.
Okay.
And she was so relieved. She's like, I just, I didn't want to offend you as a teacher. I don't think you offended me. Any good teachers knows this.
Yes.
Good teachers not afraid of boundaries. Like, okay, that's what I want you to, because I know that 2-3 years from now, you're going to need that, because there's going to be some teachers your daughter runs into that's going to be scandalous. So I'm with you. I want your child to have good boundaries. I want that, so yeah.
But you and I both know that, like, so, all right, so the same can be said with boys, right? The same thing happens with boys. Yeah. And I'm always out here ready to throw bows. I'm like, if you fucking come out there, like, look, I know how folks, like, be looking at my son. I'm like, stop right now.
Yeah, man.
He's 15. Yeah. I'm his mama. I don't care.
Right. That's right.
You come through me. You don't know. And I raised him that way, that yes, you are your own person. I'm going to give you your freedom, but they gonna have to come through me. Right. And you don't do it, and they don't need to build that kind of relationship with my son. Like, I'm like, he doesn't need another mama. He doesn't need you as an older individual doing because I've seen it happen too. And I'm lucky that I've been able to navigate it the way I've been able to navigate it, which means I'm not in jail right now. Because and I'll do it for my daughter too, but no. But I like the bribery, and because if kids start relying on the transactional and bribery relationships with teachers, right? Then how does that work for them later in life when they're met with somebody not willing to do that.
That's right.
How do they do life?
If they get used to things being transactional, then they're going to be making deals all the way through life.
Exactly.
And you can't start that at 10, 11, 12 years old, even 15 years old. I don't want that, man. I don't want that as a parent. So this is a good topic to bring up. It's a hot one.
It is.
And online, I know that when I say stuff like this online, I know people are like, okay, well, I'm gonna block him, or like, okay, somebody got to say it, man. I don't care. It's too many. I was not to go too far. This was my last thing, I promise. I was on the board of an independent school, private independent school. I was on the board, and because I got into this school through a program called A Better Chance. They take you from the hood, they put you in this private school. So I was there for a few years. And so years later, they put me on the board. Okay, great. I give money every now and then. I go to the meetings and everything. Well, they had a whole big scandal. The college counselor was messing around with some of the kids and a couple other adults. Man, and everybody was just looking the other way and, acting like, well, you don't really know. And I'm like, look, it shouldn't even, where there's smoke, we shouldn't even be having this. This shouldn't even be why are we even having the fact that we even have to talk about that? Yeah. It's already a problem.
Yeah.
Believe me, if we sitting here on the board of trustees talking about this, it's worse than we know.
Yes.
They gotta go. I don't even care. Like, without cause, just goodbye. Thank you for your service. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Do it now. Let them go. And no, Kareem, you're overreacting. And sure enough, a couple years later, a report comes out. We hired an investigator. Report came out that, so stuff was going on. You got to control the controllables. Some things are going to be out of our control, but as parents, we got to control the controllables. If you don't understand that as a teacher, as a principal or whatever, if you don't get that, you shouldn't even be around kids.
Well,
if you putting your needs ahead of kids, and you got to understand me as a parent, that's my duty. This is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to vet you. You want to give my child a ride? Listen, I've had relationships with kids. I have a godson I've adopted. Over the years, yes. But I'm very clear, I am not the father. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the daddy. I love them. They love me. They're all adults. We can talk and kick it. But man, they're kids. You have to have a relationship with their parents.
Yes.
And if their parents don't feel comfortable with that, man, back off. Stay in your lane, dude.
Yeah, and I definitely can see that happening in my son's future just because he is that kid that everybody loves, and he's so good with other kids. He is a tutor. I mean, he was like tutoring kids over the summer because he remembers Horton Gillingham and how to administer it, right? So these people are drawn, older people are drawn to him. I'm like, stop it. Come to me, and then we'll talk. But I do like that because we do need to bring that up because there are a lot of kids that are dependent on the transactional relationships, and then they come into a situation where they don't have that type of person that they're interacting with. Like, so you and I both know in the real world, like, that shit happens in corporate America all over the place, right? But it doesn't, you can't condone it. You're basically crippling the kid from functioning.
You can't contribute to it. You can't give it an inch. Also, I say, like, you can't condone it. You can't tee it up, and you create the culture where that type of stuff happens.
Exactly.
It's the culture, permissiveness, and like I say, there are always going to be teachers that connect and bond with families and kids. There's always going to be those teachers, and you know what? I was one of those teachers, but those teachers have no problem having boundaries in place. None. The parents will be the ones saying, "Hey, Mr. Jones, thank you so much. Hey, my son is playing basketball today. Man, I love it if you come by." Or the kid might ask the teacher to come by. Or they don't need a program or a school to tell them, "Hey, get involved with this kid." Some teachers are just like that. But they have enough, they're mature enough to know who the parents are and to be respectful and responsible in that. Okay. They don't have any problem with boundaries. They don't have any problem at all because they understand it's going to keep the rest of these crazy folks away from kids where they shouldn't be around kids.
Okay, but then that's a segue into something that I know to be true and I know takes place in every single parent's life that has a child with an IEP that bucks back, right? They have a habit of and it's not. So they have a habit of trying to de-escalate the parent by using the teacher that their child likes the most. And so all of a sudden that teacher starts showing up at like ball practice, or they start like they just happen to be there. That is a de-escalation tactic, right? They're trying to get the mom to be like, oh look, they really care about my baby. They're just randomly showed up at the ball field that they've never been to, like type thing. And this happened with Missy. Is that I was like, yo, that they're sending her there because they're trying to get you to calm down. I'm like, this is what they do. I don't bring cookies because I know that they be sending these fucking folks to me, trying to get me, oh, look at all the photos of your kids in the classroom. That's trying to de-escalate me and distract me from what the hell's going on in the classroom. Stop it. And I'm being honest, Kareem, they actively, and it's so shitty that they put teachers in that position. They will tell teachers to form a relationship with the parent outside of the school, right? Mm-hmm. So they feel comfortable with them. But by doing that poor teacher is being set up to also go down with the ship, because they're going to throw that teacher under the bus before they throw anybody else under the bus.
Absolutely.
And so teachers,
quick.
Yeah, exactly. They are always the ones that get hit. And like when I file complaints, I get really mad because they go after I'm like, it wasn't the teacher's fault. That was you, the administrator. You said no, not the teacher. And that's something that like I'm always now consciously aware of. I'm like, I have to file this a certain way to make sure it doesn't hit the teacher, because the teacher didn't have anything to do with it. It's the administrator that did it. So, but the use of teachers and, like you said, the building relationships and stuff like that, like that kind of coincides. Like, so keep it on. I can't even touch the bribery transactional relationship thing like you can. So I'm going to leave that one up to you. But I will say that I want to say, like, there is an underlying theme where teachers are routinely used to be the safe person and to de-escalate parents when parents begin asking questions, or they deem that parent has somehow turned, I don't want to use the word hostile, but they have turned into that parent. That's what happens. So you can be the parent that brings the cookies up there, but if you bring the cookies up there, you're just getting crumbs in your kid's IEP. You're going to get the same thing that you bring out there. And so you're going to get the crumbs instead of the full thing. That's happened. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, so let's definitely bring this topic up.
Okay, I got it.
And both of us could talk about it, but I think it's worth.
I've got it on here.
Yeah. This is important. And, it's we don't need a bunch of preparation for this.
No, we got to
make sure it's brought up. And keep it as constructive as possible. But this, this is definitely one that should be talked about when we talk about literacy and Black literacy and all the rest. And alongside this, and this is probably for me to bring up, not you. Alongside that, the push to have Black educators. All kids deserve a Black teacher.
Yeah.
So there was a time when the words Black teacher was synonymous with ethics.
Yes.
Morality, expertise, decency. It was the old church lady who also was a Sunday school teacher or something like that, but she was teaching third grade. Man, I got news for you. The Black teacher nowadays, there's still some of those out there, but now that was a generation before me.
Yeah.
Then it came my generation. Now the one that's there now is 25 years old. They just came out of Teach for America. They're 25 years old. They were raised in the suburbs, and they don't relate to some of the kids. Matter of fact, they don't. Man, we're pushing something we have no idea what we're messing with. You think just because a person is Black that they relate to kids? That's a mistake. Not everybody who has a certain skin tone is going to relate to your child.
Well, so
you would be sorely mistaken if that's what you think. I'd rather give me a teacher that's ready to teach. We worry about the color later. Like, just don't get crazy. But I want somebody who knows what they're doing. The rest of that stuff, I don't assume that just because they're a black teacher can relate to my child. That is not the case.
Okay.
That is not the case. But we can't say that in open, because like, oh well,
Well, yeah.
We gotta, I could that might be for me to talk about.
No, that is for you, because I'm not touching it, because I know to be true. I'm on Dr. Horton's panel. Yeah. He's the superintendent in DeKalb County. I'm on his personal I'm on his advisory panel, and they run the PR firms against us and everything. I'm like, oh, you're stupid. Anyway, what I did learn in the last panel was, there were two parents, and they said, oh, look, I put my kid in Region 1 because I didn't want my child in a school with black teachers. I wanted my child in a school with white teachers, because not all black teachers are the same. And everybody on this call, y'all can have your feelings, but you all know we have these, and then we have these.
Yeah, so we ain't all cut the same. That's
exactly.
Right.
And so hearing that, I was like, oh, okay, so this is actively something, because I had noticed that there was a trend where we have kids that can be, I don't want to say busing, because it's not busing, it's school choice in DeKalb County. You can apply for your child to go to a different school based off of grades and stuff like that. And so for a parent to say that, I was like, okay. And then you had the other parent clap back going, well, I personally like my child going to this school because these people know how to keep my kid in check. And I'm going, yeah, but can your kid read? I said that. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. She's like, no, that is a good thing to ask me, because you're right. Because they don't care about the academics at that school. They love on my kid. They love my kid. And they're good to them. But my kid can't read. My kid can't do math. I was like, okay. And I just walked back real quick. I was like, okay, I'm so sorry. That was just a gut check moment. I won't do that again. But I did get that feedback, and I was like, okay, wow. So yes, you take that one, and then I would say something along the lines of, watch out for the friendly teacher that starts showing up at the baseball games or the basketball games or your extracurricular events, because if you are a parent that has been vocal, there is a tactic that they use where they send that friendly teacher to de-escalate you and collect information, because you do get into a vulnerable state when you're a SPED parent, where you just want somebody to understand and listen to you, and they use that to their advantage. So that's something that I would bring up as well.
So I don't know how we're gonna remember. I took some notes.
I'm writing it all down.
Oh, you are? Okay, cool.
I'm writing everything down. I've got all of this in here. So so when it comes to the feedback I'm curious about, though, the stuff about memorizing, or what I do, the memorization of all the stuff that I've got seared in my brain. Is that something that we need to even bring up? Because I don't pretend that parents are going to do that. I do want them to get in the habit of collecting data. That's why I was bringing that up earlier, was that you're going to be the most informed person on that team. And you, as the parent, are always the most important person. And don't ever let an administrator tell you otherwise. You are the most important person on that team. So come armed with to the teeth with data. And that's your kid, and fight like that's your kid. Don't let them talk you down or talk over you. That's something that pisses me off, because I know it happens all the fucking time. I watch it happen all the time. I'm like, why are you talking over this mom and at this mom instead of talking to her? And that's when I have to insert myself. I'm like, I'm sorry, but can you talk to the mom instead of at and over? Because mom's dyslexic herself. Stop being an asshole and talk to the mom appropriately. Don't think she's stupid. But again, that's me bullying the China shop. That's how I roll at IEP meetings. I'm like, you just crossed my line. All right, I have a question for you. I do want to kind of bring in how do we bring up, everybody's going to talk about the pipeline of prison. You and I both know that everybody talks about that. I don't want to dwell on it too much, but I've lived it. You know as much as I know about it. I think, I can't even remember, but you had even said you'd gone to visit one of your friends. I think it was one of your friends in prison, or one of your students.
I used to work in a juvenile justice facility.
Oh.
I was an administrator, yeah, and also, I mean.
Okay, so that right there is something I did not know, and so that makes a lot of sense as to why, or how you're able to speak so blunt and as it's needed to be said. Like the thing that reel I made of you, where you said you think you have a behavior problem, but you really have a reading problem.
Yeah, like, and everybody knows it.
But no, not everybody knows that.
Well, okay.
You know that. You and I both. Point. You and I
everybody both. At this, the kids know. Well, you're right. Not everybody does know.
No,
they
and gotta stop assuming things. That's what I'm trying to say. Is that like that is why the cab brings me in, is because I'm the one that's gonna say it. I'm like that behavior. That's that kid trying to get out of the classroom because they don't know how to do it. I'm like, go look at that kid's grades. Go look to see if that kid has ever been able to write a cohesive sentence without asking for a prompt. And, you know, I don't want to spend too much time on the pipeline to prison just because I know so many people there are already going to do it. I'm going to defer that to you, but it is something that I work on a lot here because of the real-time ramifications of me seeing it. Because the DJJ here, the former DJJ, was fired by Governor Kemp. He wasn't allowed to resign. Kemp fired him. He still has 7 lawsuits against him, the former DJJ in Georgia, because of what he did to kids. There were so many kids that took their lives in juvenile because of this guy. So, knowing that my friends went into prison with this guy, you know, because he was in there forever, that's just a personal thing for me. I don't want to make it personal. Anyway, sorry. You give me your feedback on if you think it's relevant to even bring it up.
I think it's relevant, and you know, when we talk about the school to prison pipeline, man, it's often like a buzzword.
It is. That it's become that.
It's linguistic type deal and stuff. And you know, I have shared. I know Hildebrand does this too. We have shared like the old Department of Justice report. This is 1993. We shared the abstract. Well, I actually was able to dig up finally. It was like, it's tough to find, but I found the actual report itself. Mm-hmm. Man, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like, I may just, you know, there's stuff in there that, you know, jails don't play. It is, anyway, let's just say, I think this is a good topic to bring up. And I hope that we can help people understand that it's not a game.
No, it's not. And that's what everyone, I'll have even family members ask me why I won't stop. And I always reply with, because I can't sleep at night because I'm worried about if I'm going to get a call if that kid's awake, or if that kid's alive tomorrow, or if that kid's in prison. Or like there's so much out there that people don't understand as it pertains to kids and literacy and the scary things that can take place. And it will cost you your sanity if you let it. And I let it, unfortunately, this year. It finally got to me because I finally realized I am fighting for I'm fighting for kids that are identical to my friends that I've lost. And I did not realize in that fight that it was going to re-trigger trauma that I had not taken care of. And I don't walk away from kids. I will stay the course. But that's me. That's not, and I don't expect every other parent to be that way. But I do want to bring into it, when is the time to bring a lawyer in and when is the time to leave the lawyers out? Because this is something that at its core drives me insane. And everybody that knows me knows this. So there is no need to start the IEP out with a lawyer in the meeting with you. First off, you bring a lawyer to an IEP.
But if you do, I ain't mad at you.
Yes.
If you just so happen to do it.
If you have one that's a friend and they just want to sit and chill and listen to what's going on, cool. But don't let them know that, just say that's your family friend, all right? Just call them your family friend. Don't let them know they're a lawyer. They don't need to know that. But what I see all the time that happens when you bring an attorney into the IEP meeting at the very beginning, at the gate, it takes longer to get the shit done with lawyers involved. If you keep it with just the parent and I like to call myself the family friend and the family friend, you can typically get that shit handled quickly. But the moment you bring in lawyers, their lawyers are going to charge by the hour about $500, so they're going to drag it out. And then your lawyers over here doing it pro bono and going to get paid back from the district. And even though our lawyers are friends, well, in my case, they still got to get paid, but nothing gets done quickly when the lawyers come in, right? It's like, so my message to people a lot of the time is like, don't start out the gate with an attorney, okay? Go in there. If you have exhausted all resources, meaning if you've gone and memorized all the shit, whatever, and done all the things, pulled some stunts, done the complaints, and they still won't budge, all right, bring the lawyer. But also know the moment you put that lawyer in the mix, it's forever changed. The landscape in that classroom or in that school will forever be changed. Your kid is going to now be known as the kid that comes along with a lawyer. And that is going to put teachers on the offense. Sorry. It's the truth, though, Kareem. It's the truth.
All right.
Kids will be profiled based off of their parents using lawyers.
This is a good conversation to have. This is a good conversation to have.
You think so?
Is you writing down topics and bringing this one up or having a list?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can have a list and who brings it up or whatever. It's open to others. I can bring it. This is a good one.
Because
okay, all right. That's good expertise that you're bringing to bear and good perspective on it.
Well, it's just that I see people jump to attorneys first. I'm like, okay, so that kid that you spent a year dragging attorneys in, like I could have had that child with Orton Gillingham. So the case with the SPLC here in DeKalb County with Sherry and everybody, I'm going, why the fuck didn't you come to me, Sherry? She's like, I did, but then Megan and them took it. And I'm like, I could have had that girl set up already in OG with a certified person and getting everything she fucking needed right then and there. Had you come to me, that would have been squashed. She's like, I know, but they didn't know what they were really saying in the IEP meetings. Like Missy tried, Megan tried, and nothing was working. And I just got flustered because this is the district that fired me, and this child was in 9th grade. I'm like, I'm not dismissing your feelings. I'm just saying that I had a relationship with this district. And the moment I pop off an email, they're going to respond immediately. So that's why I always say, don't take the lawyer route first. If you have friends that were already working in that district, maybe go to them first. But that also brings into work with the district, not work against. It's not always in your best interest to work against a district. It's always, if you're an advocate or whatever, working with versus against, you're going to get more quicker, right? Now, I'm not going to say that fight's easy or that's easy to do because you harbor your own feelings and you have feelings about that. But when you work, and you can work against and with at the same time, right? I mean, God knows I've seen my district twice and these motherfuckers still keep calling me to come do professional development and shit, and vet curriculum. But you can work with and against, but to establish the with part, you need to be able to show that you're willing to work with. Does that make sense? Like, set your line or draw your line in the sand and be like, this right here. If you come past this point, we're going from family friend to advocate, okay? So just don't pass this line and we can stay the course and work with each other. But the moment you do, that's when I'm going to start doing what I do and I'm going to bury you in complaints and make you regret saying anything that just came out of your mouth. So that's kind of like the juxtapose of working with and against. Does that make sense? I don't know. How do you feel about that as an educator? how do you would you prefer a parent to work with, or think about the layers prior to you getting to the point of where you're at now, obviously, and like years later, when you were a fresh, brand new teacher, did you, I mean, I'm sure you, like all new teachers, had that thing in you where you immediately got offended if the parent started asking you questions, right? And it wasn't from a place, the parent wasn't trying to escalate you. The parent was just trying to get answers, but you immediately, and this is, I'm not saying you personally, I'm using you as an example though. You immediately get defensive because you're like, I'm the teacher, I got the degree, I'm the one that knows, right? This is how parents are met. So my ask of you is, how does it make you feel when parents out the gate don't want to work with and they just want to work against?
Again, that gets into maturity from the teacher.
I think that needs to be. I think it needs to be mandatory, though. Sorry.
You know what I mean? Like, I have to understand that parents are traumatized. It's not all about you as a teacher. They've had teachers before you, and you don't know what happened. You don't know what they had to deal with the last few years, right? Or with other kids that didn't came through the system. So now here you come thinking it's all about you. It's not all about you. It's not about you. It's not going to be about you. It's about the kid. And they on post. When you on post, man, you know, you get what you get. But your job is to be the vanguard to protect that child. And so sometimes they might come at you sideways. If you want to build relationships so badly, earn their trust.
Ties back into that.
By being good, by being consistent, by having good communication skills, by being above board. You know, when I taught, I left my door open. You can come by anytime. You ain't got to go to. You can go to office. They got rules. That's on them. But my door is open, and I want you to see what I'm doing in here. You know, a kid can come in when I'm in here by myself early in the morning, or stay a little bit later. But my door is open, and they know they do what they do. But anybody can stick their head in my classroom. Like, you have to understand that we are dealing with the most precious resource these parents have. Mm-hmm. And we got to govern ourselves accordingly and have some humility about it. Why does it have to be an issue because somebody else has issues? They need to have issues with these schools. But the teachers, the principals, the superintendents, the school boards, the schedule, the materials, the IEP process, all of it, this issue, the law, the policies, they should have issues with all of it. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna get mad at them for that. Be a parent, and as you see my work, don't judge me by my mission statement or whatever the slogan is. Judge me by my work. You judge a tree by the fruit it bears. Then you get comfortable. See how I move. See how I keep you informed about what's going on. Am I just calling you to complain about stuff, or am I telling you ahead? Do I tell you when stuff is going good about your child as well? Am I really paying attention? Is my kid? I'm watching how my kid responds to you. Anyways, it's a lot to this. It's another one of these. This is another good topic. Happy to engage on this one. If you want to ask a question about this,
because
happy to do
you did nail it. Because you say you don't know what that parent's been through with another teacher.
You don't know. You don't know. You can't know. You don't know. And not just for that kid. They might have had other kids that they had to navigate, and that might have left some scars and wounds on their back you can't even see. Right? Yeah. You're lucky they even got the kid in the school. They might have put him out of homeschool from a private school or something. You know, if you act right, they'll keep them there, but don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. So yeah.
I mean, like, at the end of the day, my goal is to keep kids in public school. I know everybody thinks I'm anti. I mean, I won't put my kids back. They're not a fucking experiment anymore. But if you in public school understand that there's a push and a pull that's always going to take place, and the thing is like, we don't want teachers to always be on the offense or the defense, thinking that we're critiquing them just by asking a question. And this takes place even in private school. My daughter's kindergarten teacher, I'm like, bitch, get over my husband's phone. If you come to me one more time, I'm about to get her kicked out of.
Hey, listen, I gotta hop. I got another call I gotta go to, or some podcast, something, I don't know.
Some podcast, I've got all of this written down, and I'm going to I'm going to just run it by Clarice and be like, look, we have our questions, and if you need a shiny thing, we can make something. I'll make something, but I think this is perfect. Thank you, Kareem, for doing this with me, because like this is exactly what I think a lot of people need to hear versus
It'll be good.
The toned down shit that we always hear.
Right. Well, I look forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
All right, friend. Bye.